Hey guys, last time I finished a video with this demo and I really started getting into Amiga Basic programming again. And one of the things that Amiga Basic is really good at is not just the put command, but there's also Blitter Objects and virtual sprites. And I thought I'd give it a try and see if I could extend my code to work with these functions. And after playing around, I think I got something. And so that's what I'm going to show you right now. Let me just pop into Visual Studio Code here. So this is the object editor that comes with Amiga Basic. Basically, it allows you to edit shapes just like my program, but in a crude way. It only allows you to basically draw pixels. Let me just go into it and actually show you. So if we go in here and just stop this program, here it is right here. And let's make it bigger. So you use this to draw your shapes basically. And you can save them. This allows you to save them to a file, and then from the file you can load it into Amiga Basic and display it. And that's fine and all, but uh, it's not very good in terms of creating detailed shapes. You can't import from other editors, and you can't really draw all that well in it. So it's not that great, but it does have some code that I can use, and I'm going to show you that next. Uh, okay, I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code and bring that up. So this is the source code to that. It comes with the Amiga Basic, and the key part is actually right here at the end. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. This bit of code here is what makes it all work. And so I thought if I could make this code work with the data I'm generating, I could also support the bobs and the sprites. And I've been able to do that, so I'm going to show you that example now. And it's this one right here. So I've been able to take that code, make a few adjustments here. So one of the I created a couple of subprograms. One is called Make Sprite Image, and this will take the 16 color image that I generate with my program, and it'll patch a few things. First, it checks to make sure it's 16 pixels wide, and that the bit planes are 4-bit planes. We need to know that so in order we could perform this little calculation down here. What this does is only uses the first 2-bit planes, but if it's anything else but a 4-bit plane image, this will fail. So that's why we're checking this up here first. So if it's anything but 16 pixels wide or 4-bit planes, we exit the subprogram. And and this will generate a valid image taking uh, what my program generates, modifying it slightly, and you end up uh, with being able to use the object command. So I'm going to run this just to show you what happens here. And I'm going to go do this from scratch again and show you the complete process of how you can do it. So if we go back in here, I'm going to load RM demo 3 and run it. And so this image right here, this is the put image. It only gets pasted onto the screen. It doesn't move around. This is a virtual sprite. Notice how the mouse pointer changes when it's in that area. And this is a Bob, a Blitter object. See how it's transparent? I'm only moving these 2 pixels at a time, but they can move a lot faster, and I can change that later. Anyway, all this is generated from the code that Raster Master creates, and we just basically patch it up, and we can turn that code into sprites and Blitter objects. So I'm just going to let this finish. As soon as they touch, the program finishes. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of that. And so this is the actual code that Raster Master creates. And I'm going to wipe out all this right now. And we're going to start from scratch, and I'm going to create something new. Okay, let me bring this into view. Turn off the grid. Okay, so I haven't tested anything big, so this might be a good opportunity to create something big. All right. Let me choose. What's a good color here? Let's just go with this. Let's create a nice big face. And I think that should be good enough for the Blitter object. So this is going to be 60 by 60 pixels. So let's save it, actually export it, and let's just call it face 16 DAT. All right. And I'm going to create another image. And this one will be just 16 pixels wide. But I'm going to make it much taller. There we go. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think that's good enough for the demo. And that's 16 pixels wide. And let's export that. We'll call this cross 16 DAT. Okay. Now let's flip back to our Visual Studio Code and let me bring in the images I just exported. That's one. And that's the other. Okay. I'm just going to cut and paste this into our basic program here and do the same with this one. And I'm going to attach a little label here. I'm going to call this cross 16 and make it a label. And I'm going to put a label here as well, call it face 16. And this is a little trick I've used when there's a lot of images. You just don't know which one you're going to read first, or at some point you may need to reread things again. So this, by using a label, this makes it actually easy, and I'm going to show you how. So our sprite is the cross. So let's read that first. So we can do restore cross 16, and this doesn't really have any effect because it's going to read the first data set anyway. But if you had lots and this was in the middle of a program, this would move the read pointer to that location. So, and let's change this to face 16. And one more thing we need to find is the size of how much data we should be reading. So let's find out the face is pretty big. It's 963. And our cross is 151. All right, so starting from here, I created an array of 1,000 elements. I can reuse this with as many images as I want. So first we're going to read the cross, and we're going to read it into the array, and then we could, plot it to the screen using the put command. We could plot this as many times as we want, and we're going to call this subprogram to make it a sprite, which is going to store in this sprite string here. And we display that further down here. So we set the position, and right here's the position. And we also set the speed here. So I've set it to -2 pixels, so it'll start moving to the from where it was displayed. It'll start moving to the left-hand side. And if we go to the face, um, we store it in this string, Bob image string, and we set it right here. And again, XY coordinates. And we set it to start moving to the right, so 2 pixels to the right. All right, and if I did everything right, this hopefully should work. So let me save it and jump back to Amiga Basic. So this is the old version. We're going to stop it, exit. Okay, RM demo 3, and there we go. Notice how the face is going over the first cross. That's just the put image we plotted. So it's just static image now on the screen. While the other two are moving over and they're not disturbing anything on the screen. If I draw some lines, you'll get a better idea of that. Okay, let's stop that. And where'd everything go? There we go. So let me draw a few lines here. Line, actually boxes 0, 0 to let's do 100 to 100. Um, just choose 5, see what that color is, and BF stands for box filled. Uh, and I'll do the same. Start from 50, 50, and go to 200 to 180. And let's choose color 7. All right, let's see what this produces. Now I'm not editing in Amiga Basic Editor because it's really clumsy. It's hard to do anything in there. So I'm just constantly reloading this. But if we wanted to take a look at, we do a show list here, and it's the same. It's just there we go. Yeah, it's very hard to read, even if I make this bigger. Here, let me yeah, and the single pixel cursor is really hard to figure out. All right, let's just run it. And okay. So this gives you a better idea of what's happening here. and when they make contact, they stop. Okay. Yeah, let me just try making this a little faster. Okay. So instead of 2 pixels, let's make it 10 and 10. Save it. Let's bring this back to. There we go, much faster. And I think that's it. I think I've demonstrated everything I wanted to. Hopefully, you can see what you can create with Amiga Basic. It's actually very powerful uh, for a for a basic interpreter, but getting graphics into Amiga Basic is a little difficult. But hopefully that you've seen the way I've done it, it makes it a little easier.